Hi everyone, welcome to Free Spanish Lessons, Lesson 7, Verbs, Conjugation and the Tenses. Lección 7, Conjugación de los verbos y los tiempos. To study verbs conjugation, we will start working with the following verbs: to play, to watch, to listen. To play can be used with sports, games and instruments. For example, to play sports or games, jugar; to play instruments, tocar; to watch, ver; to listen, escuchar. In Spanish, verbs conjugation considers the subject and the tense, same as the verb to be in English. Here we have the conjugation of the verb to be in present, past and future. For present, I am, you are, he is, she is, and so on, you can notice that the form of the verb to be is changing depending on the subject, and also it is changing depending on the tense. I am present, I was past tense, I will be future. But for the future you will need the auxiliary verb will. In Spanish we don't use this auxiliary verb, so any verb that you will need to conjugate in future will have a different form from present and past. For example, if we want to work with the conjugation of the verb to play, sports or games, in present tense, I say yo juego, I play; tú juegas, you play; él juega, he plays. And if you want to say the same thing in past tense, you change the form of the verb. Yo jugué, I played; tú jugaste, you played; él jugó, he played. And in future, yo jugaré, I will play; tú jugarás, you will play; él jugará, he will play. If you look in the dictionary for the conjugation of this verb, you will find many tables, and each table corresponds to a different tense, and as you can see, there are many different tenses. This might look a little bit overwhelming, but using the tool that we are developing on Excel, it can be easier. So let's go to Excel. You know that you can download this file from the link in the description of this video, and you will see that I have added here general sentences, verbs, and objects. If you go to verbs, you will find a single table where I am putting the information of many different verbs and different tenses. So instead of many different tables for one single verb, I am grouping here different verbs, and we can add more verbs later in different tenses. Let's check here. For example, we have to listen in future, in present, and in simple past. Let's check, for example, to play in present tense: yo juego, tú juegas, usted juega, él juega. Here, yo juego, tú juegas, él juega. You can notice that in this dictionary they are not putting ella, neither usted, because it's the same conjugation. Usted juega, él juega, ella juega. But other dictionaries show all the subjects: él, ella, usted juega. Nosotros, nosotras jugamos. Let's go here. Nosotros jugamos, nosotras jugamos. Then we have ellos, ellas, ustedes juegan, ustedes juegan, ustedes juegan. Ellos juegan, ellas juegan. And then you have vosotros, vosotras jugáis, vosotras jugáis, vosotros jugáis. It still looks a little bit difficult, but if you organize by tenses, then you will see the group for future, and you can start to notice that we have some kind of rules, because in future, escuchar, I will listen, escucharé. You have the verb in infinitive, escuchar, and you add the E with stress. This symbol in Spanish, it's called tilde, and when you find a tilde in Spanish, you have to stress the word in that letter. Escucharé, I will listen, yo escucharé. Tocaré, I will play, yo tocaré, and so on. So you see that there is a rule. You add E with tilde as a suffix for the verb in infinitive. Escuchar, escucharé. Tocar, tocaré. For first person, I, yo. For second, escucharás, tocarás, jugarás, verás. For the present tense, you have yo escucho, yo toco, yo juego y yo veo. Tú escuchas, tú tocas, tú juegas, tú ves. You see AS, 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 but here you don't have AS. Because as it happens in English that you have regular and irregular verbs, we also have regular and irregular verbs. We will study this more deeply in the following lessons. But here, I want you to just understand that I am putting all the conjugations that are presented in a dictionary inside this table. And I do this because I want to come here to general sentences and bring the conjugation that depends on the subject and also on the tense. For example, here I have the sentence I play soccer. Yo, this is present tense, yo juego fútbol. So I am going to explain you how to use this. First of all, we need to be careful about choosing the right person, the right subject, because, for example, in English, you have you, and it can be used for male, for female, and also for singular and plural, the same subject, you. But in Spanish, it's different. We differentiate between male, female, singular, and plural. So, I, it's first person, it's singular, and it can be male or female, depending on who is talking. And in this case, it's male, it's me, but it is not changing the subject, yo. But if you put plural here, you will see nosotros, because first person in plural is we, nosotros, male, and female changes to nosotras. But the verb is jugamos. So, for plural, jugamos, for singular, yo juego. Then, you get to choose the tense, present tense. So, if I change the tense to past tense, I would say I played soccer, and in this case, if I change it to past tense, it would be yo jugué fútbol. And if I want to make the same sentence in future, I will play soccer. In Spanish, I would say yo jugaré fútbol. Then I have here the object. If I change the object, the rest is the same. For example, I will play basketball. I will play basketball. Yo jugaré baloncesto. But if I want to say that I will not play basketball, you put the not here after the auxiliary verb, but in Spanish, for the negative sentence, you put an O here, after the subject, before the verb. Yo no jugaré baloncesto. Let's go back to the affirmative. Yo jugaré baloncesto. I will play basketball. And if I want to ask, will I play basketball? In Spanish, the affirmative sentence, yo jugaré baloncesto, is transformed into a question by adding the quotation marks and changing the intonation. Yo jugaré baloncesto, affirmative, and the question, yo jugaré baloncesto, changing the intonation with a higher pitch. Yo jugaré baloncesto, yo jugaré baloncesto. Okay, let's work with another verb. For example, I want to work with the verb to listen. And I want to say they will listen to the radio. They will listen to the radio. So, the subject is the third person. Third person, plural, they. And let's leave it with female, ellas. Third person, plural, female, ellas. Third person, plural, male, ellos. And third person, singular, male, él, he. So let's go back to plural, male. They will listen. Ellos escucharán. And I need to change the subject to the radio. Let's check here. The guitar, the piano, I don't have the radio, so I can go back to the menu, go back to objects, write down the radio, and in Spanish, la radio. Go back to sentences, change basketball with the radio. Ellos escucharán la radio. It is affirmative and it is not a question. Ellos escucharán la radio. Then, if I want to make a question, I just add the quotation marks and change the intonation from ellos escucharán la radio to ellos escucharán la radio. And if you want to make the negative question in English, won't they listen to the radio? Won't they listen to the radio? In Spanish, you say that is a question, that it is negative, so the no appears here. Ellos no escucharán la radio. Won't they listen to the radio? Ellos no escucharán la radio. And that's it. So I am inviting you to play with this sheet, to make your own sentences, even to try to add more verbs here. And if you want to write down in the comments the sentences that you are building with this tool, I can check them, and if I find some mistakes, I can help you understand what is the mistake and how to correct. So this would be the end of this lesson. I hope that you have liked it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and share. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.